The following program is a presentation of the Seattle Seahawks and the National Football League.
Well, we're not the only ones excited to see the Seahawks take the field tonight. Bobby Wagner will play for the first time this preseason. Russell Wilson will be back at quarterback as the starters are expected to play at least a quarter and maybe even a full half as the Seahawks take on the Los Angeles Chargers in preseason action here from Carson, California in week 3 of the preseason. Hello again, everybody. Kurt Menefee along with Brock Hewitt. And Brock, you take a look at, and we look around the league, we see every team, so many teams, every game, not playing their starters. The Chargers aren't playing a lot of guys tonight. You won't see Phillip Rivers, you won't see Melvin Ingram, but we see Bobby Wagner and Russell Wilson. Why?
Because it's in their DNA to compete and play. It's the essence of this program. And I think even more, Kurt, is we've spent time around them this preseason. Those guys are the leaders and mentors of this team. You know, Bobby Wagner said to us in our production meeting, I need to share my scars. Meaning I got to share my experience with these young players to grow and develop them in a room. And yesterday you sit down with Russell Wilson and he is loving this role of mentor. And there'll be no David Moore, there will be no DK Metcalf, so he will have young guys to grow and develop. That's why they're playing tonight, to continue to mold and grow this team, because clearly it's theirs.
All right, so a lot of young guys in the lineup tonight. We will get to see them in action. And I think the two things that we keep hearing from Pete Carroll and his coaching staff, they want to see guys compete, and they want to see guys make splash plays.
Yes, and they've already done it the first couple weeks, right? We saw Jazz Ferguson week number 1. We've seen Deshaun Shedd twice. And we saw Ugo Amadi with the maybe the play of the NFL preseason a week ago in Minnesota, splitting a double team on the punt coverage. And then a hit that he said to us yesterday, I didn't even know it would be as big as it turned out being. And that I think is perfect and exemplifies what a splash play is. Make everybody notice. And in Southern California tonight, there are going to be guys with plenty of opportunity to make a splash.
And we will have plenty of time to see who can make a splash. It's the Seahawks and the Chargers getting ready for the opening kickoff, which comes your way right after this. Seahawks football is brought to you by CenturyLink, trusted technology partner of the Seattle Seahawks. All right, Brock. Teams don't really game plan for this preseason game any more than they do the others, but you are who you are, and this offense for the Chargers is one that likes to dink and dunk the football.
Yeah.
What should we expect to see the Seahawks do to try and respond?
Well, I'd like to see them play a little bit tighter in coverage tonight, and that's not just me saying that. That's Coach Norton. When I asked yesterday, and I said, hey, Ken, you know, Minnesota, what were they, 28-35, 11-18 on third down. What do you got to do in coverage to knock those passes down? We've seen Phillip Rivers be efficient against this crew, and for Trey Flowers and for Shaquille Griffin, it's to be a little bit tighter. I don't expect to see either of those guys play Thursday night, so here's your chance against the Ken Whisenhunt offense. It sprays the ball everywhere to be a little bit tighter in coverage, and who knows, maybe even find a takeaway tonight to really set the stage for the regular season.
Well, the Chargers offense will have the ball first. Jason Myers set to kick it off. Seattle won the toss, but elected to defer it to the second half. And there's Tremaine Pope. Seahawk fans remember him, a couple of stints in the preseason with Seattle. And last week on special teams, as he tries to make the Chargers, ran back a punt 81 yards for a score.
And speaking of these special teams, that's what Pete wants to see as well. He wants to see these guys to continue doing what they've done this preseason, and that is fly down the field. A lot of emphasis on the teams division, as Coach Carroll likes to call it. There are draft picks, there were free agents brought in here to continue to affect the game with that special teams.
All right, we are ready on a warm and nice night. Low humidity here in Southern California. Time to start off week 3 of the preseason. Pope back in his end zone, gonna let that one fly right over his head. Jason Myers getting it started off with a touchback. And so the Chargers will play first on offense. Tyrod Taylor getting the start tonight. Chargers, one of those teams, Phillip Rivers has not and will not play at all this preseason.
And Tyrod, 13-16, over 80% this preseason. He will find completions. You will also see him run around. A good test tonight for this front seven. Getting rid of the football, spraying it around, as I said earlier, and then also a guy, all three quarterbacks really tonight for the Chargers are guys that can run and create with their legs.
All right, so here we go. First down. First play of the game. The handoff. Austin Eckler, and he's wrapped up right away. Nowhere to go. Quentin Jefferson was the first guy to get there. Michael Kendricks wrapped him up. A lot of starters playing for the Seahawks on both sides of the football tonight. You see the guys up front will try and get some pressure against an offensive line for the Chargers that's really banged up. And this is the first time we've seen those three linebackers that they're counting on so much play together.
That's the best linebacking crew in the NFL as far as talents, experience, what they bring to the table. And nice to see the three of them together tonight.
First pass attempt. Pass caught. Eckler out of the backfield. Slips away from K.J. Wright's tackle. Eventually stopped by Tedrick Thompson. Going to be just shy of the 30-yard line.
What a nice play there by KJ. I know he didn't finish the tackle, and you could see him clapping his hands, but that is years of experience. 9 years in this league. And that's a screen pass that if he's not in this game, one of the younger guys does not recognize the lineman getting out in front of it and read and react as quickly as KJ does, forcing this third down.
Chargers looking for the 35-yard line. Here's Taylor. Zips that one right across the middle. They're not going to get it. Bradley McDougal wraps up Hunter Henry well short of the marker.
And there's, again, a couple experienced guys, back-to-back snaps with an awareness and understanding of what's going on. Ken Norton wanted him tighter in coverage. You can't really be any tighter than McDougal was right there in the hip pocket of the tight end. And then most importantly, finishes the tackle and a 3-and-out, exactly what the one defense wanted.
Here's the guy you wanted to see return kicks tonight, Ugo Amadi. He's the kick returner and punt returner expected to start this game. Standing back to take the kick, Ty Long. Calls for a fair catch, makes it right about the 16-yard line. And so Russell Wilson will get his first action of the night from there. We got a late flag down. That was well after the play was over. Bill Vinovich, our referee.
Kicking team player went out of bounds on his own. 5-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down.
All right, so the Seahawks basically get another 5 yards because of the infraction.
Run, play, action, pass. Run, play, action, pass. Russell has talked this camp about how much he has enjoyed the creativity that Coach Schottenheimer has brought in that play-action game. And a contrast of styles. You said earlier in the pregame how the Chargers like to dink the ball around. Coach Carroll is not for that. He likes to run it and hit home runs. I'll not be surprised at all to see Coach Schottenheimer scripting the first 10 to 15 plays. Not only a heavy dosage of run, but watch that play-action pass off of it.
All right, so after the penalty, starting with 22, Chris Carson makes a cut back inside. Just like that, 5 yards.
We're down on the field pregame, and it's a tale of a couple different teams as well. It's an offense with those Seahawks up front that is massive. Not a bigger offensive line in the NFL. And nice to see Fluke have such a good training camp. And then you know some of those receivers, but there's going to be a lot you may not know who will find a way to rotate in with these ones in the first half.
The fake to Carson, Russell kept it. And Russell Wilson going to be out near that first down marker. You expect a little play action. I don't know if you expected that.
And I can expect the thousands to hundreds of thousands watching back home holding their breath when Russell runs and says, hey, listen, the other guy isn't even playing on the other sidelines. But Russell does such a good job of knowing how to protect himself, and that will keep the defense honest, and Pete knows it.
Third and a long one. 2 tight ends in. Carson gets the first down. You talked about it earlier. This was the place last year the Seahawks started to run the ball, and they're starting tonight just like that.
And they just did this. They just moved the line. Watch the right side of the line. Fluke, Affetti, Disley. Look at the surge off the ball. Just push the Chargers. That's all you got to do is give Carson that opportunity, just a little bit of space, and 230 downhill, you got no shot.
3 tight ends now for the Seahawks, and the pass is dropped. Almost caught. Jacob Hollister, one of those 3 tight ends, came over in a trade this offseason from the Patriots, just couldn't haul it in.
And Jacob's a guy, unfortunately, that missed a little bit of camp. Just as he was getting hot, had a groin injury that kept him off the field. And that's what his job is to do, is to stretch it vertically. Dissly can block, he can also run. Dixon can block, he can also run. But as far as the real speedster, it is Hollister, and he just couldn't finish the catch.
Wilson from the shotgun, hands it off to Carson, cuts it back. And another nice run by Chris Carson picks up another Seattle first down.
And just look at the guys up front getting what they call a hat on a hat. It is teaching textbook. And just look at, not only massive and one of the biggest in the league, but watch him move a little bit as well. Fluker holds a point of contact right there. And Carson reads right off of Fluker's hip. Right at the point of attack right there. That's what a running back wants. He wants a two-way go, and he exploits it.
All right, Carson takes a breather. Rashad Penny comes in. Picks up maybe a yard on that one.
And that has just been for number 20, the MO this preseason. Carson gets space, a two-way go off Fluke. And then anytime Penny's been in, 12 rushes for 13 yards, the phone booth is a whole lot more condensed and tight. But Chris Carson proved himself, showed himself last year, and really was in this building. I think he foreshadowed his 1,100-yard season, and they want to get Penny into space.
First Seahawk back since 2014 to go for over 1,000 this season. Here's Wilson out of the backfield to Penny. Takes it into charge of territory.
And expect to see number 20 a bunch. He's not going to be putting the ball cap on after the number 1s are done. Rashad Penny last year, 4.9 yards a carry. He flashed. Those splash plays, he had a bunch of them. But it's just the consistency, play in, play out, series in, series out. And of any of the running backs, I expect to see him play the most tonight.
See what the Seahawks can do here on 3rd down. Wilson. Up top, wide open, and they overthrew Malik Turner. No one there with him.
Yeah, and the Chargers bring a little pressure there, bring a 5th defender, a one-on-one, and Malik shook himself watching that bunch formation. Right, you're going to see the man-to-man coverage here, and what a beautiful move by Malik, a little double move there. And I think, unfortunately, Russell just felt some of the people around him in the pocket. And that's one that Russell would like to have back, and I think would just put right on the numbers of 1-7 when that DB falls down.
Yeah, missed opportunity there. Michael Dixon on the punt. The Pro Bowler Desmond King. Watch it sail over his head into the end zone for a touchback. So each team has had the ball once. Each team has been forced to punt it. No score so far here in Carson. Stay tuned to learn how the Seahawks are investing in the future of football. Presented by American Family Insurance. All right, so Bobby Wagner's gotten 1 series under his belt so far in the preseason, ready for another.
I think in this series, Ken Norton would love to send a couple of those guys. Ken Norton's a guy that likes to speed those quarterbacks up. And between Kendricks and KJ and Bobby, you've got 3 very experienced linebackers. But I think especially in Bobby and Michael, 2 of the most explosive, instinctive guys that want to get after the quarterback. And I would be willing to bet here that Coach Norton would love to see a down and distance where he can cut those guys loose.
And make no secret, I mean, the Seahawks are trying to find somewhere to generate a pass rush. Particularly at the start of the season, Jaron Reed going to be out the first 6 weeks because of his suspension. Obviously, during the offseason, they wind up making the trade with Kansas City. And it's just like, okay, who's going to step up? Who's going to bring us some sacks?
And some good news that Ziggy Ansah, according to Coach Carroll, should have a chance to practice this next week and may just be available for the Bengals in 2 weeks.
There's Tyrod Taylor. There's that pass rush. Gets away from Michael Kendrick, but he won't get far before eventually being chased out of bounds. That's the pressure we just talked about coming from the linebacking crew.
Yeah, and you don't get the sack, but that has an effect. And you can watch Kendricks right at the top of your screen here. He and Bobby come on that blitz, and you may not have gotten home, but you absolutely affect the clock and the timing of these quarterbacks. And when you're playing Ben Roethlisberger week 2 and Drew Brees week 3 and even Andy Dalton week number 1, you're going to want Kendricks and crew affecting that pocket, just like they did on first down.
Here's the pitch, Austin Eckler. Eckler wrapped up, pulling it forward. There's a name you expect to hear a lot this season.
Boy, did Ken Norton like talking about him yesterday. He exemplifies a guy that talks so very little and let everybody else heap the praise on you. And yet, as Coach Norton said, when they make him talk in those meetings and in the defensive group meetings, more and more guys are listening, not just because of the dominant play on the field, but the great personality too.
Well, he's one of those guys, when he says something, you listen because, you know, he rarely says anything. So it must be important in his second year out of Texas. Over the middle, caught Hunter Henry. Their tight end wrapped up by Jamar Taylor, but only after he moves the sticks.
And they send the linebackers again. And, you know, kind of like in spring training, right? You'll see pitchers work on pitches. I think this is a drive for Ken Norton to work on sending those linebackers. You saw it on the first down, you see it on the third down, and Jamar in a pretty good spot in that zone defense to make the tackle. Unfortunately, a better and more efficient throw from the Chargers to move the chains.
Gain of 10. From the 33, Taylor flushed out of the pocket. Gets around the corner, and that's trouble. Into Seahawk territory, slides at about the 45-yard line. No flags. Tedrick Thompson touches him down.
And all three quarterbacks for LA tonight are going to do this. Cardell, not quite as quick as Tyrod Stick out of North Dakota State, will absolutely do this. And that is where that containment is so important off the edge there. You lose contain, just a four-man rush. You lose that edge. And the quarterbacks tonight that you're playing against are going to be looking for those opportunities.
So they'll spot it at the 47 where he began his slide. Still a gain of 20. Eckler. Austin Eckler picks up about 3 yards on the play. And, of course, he's getting playing time tonight because Melvin Gordon, their Pro Bowl running back, still holding out, wanting a new contract at running back.
Is he training down with Zeke and Cabo? Have you read that, or is he somewhere
Apparently
else?
That's the place to go to get your body in shape. That's where running backs that are holding out are right now.
Watch the vertical shots, too. Ken Wisenhunt, especially between the 40s, is a guy that likes to take his shots down the field at times.
Everybody spread out wide, empty backfield, over the middle. Mike Williams, one of their big wide receivers, makes the catch. Bobby Wagner, KJ Wright makes the stop, but another first down for the Chargers.
Yeah, and that's some zone coverage. I think Norton may be expecting that shot down the field. The Chargers empty it out, and you'll watch the Seahawks defenders just drop, right? Playing that zone coverage. All three linebackers drop underneath, and then you got to come back and finish. Is Bobby trying to punch that ball out and force a takeaway.
Chunk of 9 yards that time. Here's the pressure underneath. Oh! Mike Williams, the intended receiver, KJ Wright, right there with him.
I love that.
And he just missed a pick as well.
Look at him. This is about the third smile we've seen in this first quarter. Number one, you know, he read and diagnosed the play, just ran through the arm tackle. The next one was a screen pass, and that's textbook. I mean, that's putting your shoulder pad, getting your head out of the play, and putting your shoulder pad right on the football. The fundamentals and the techniques that come with nearly a decade in this league.
Taylor escapes again. You know, this is interesting when you watch this because we talk about your offense is what it is. This is not what this Charger offense is when Phillip Rivers is at quarterback.
No. Phillip is looking to those checkdowns for those situations. And I'll tell you what else, your Seahawks defense, that's now 3 different situations where you brought linebackers. The first was Kendricks and Bobby. It was Bobby. That time it was KJ becoming the extra rusher. So once again, activating that pass rush from the second level of your defense. A big third down here.
Needing the 24. Taylor with time, tipped at the line of scrimmage and broken up by Jamar Taylor, but there is a flag in the secondary.
And remember, Coach Carroll can challenge pass interference here if this is indeed going to go against Jamar.
And remember, if it was tipped at the line of scrimmage, which it appeared to be, there will be no pass interference.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense number 26, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And defensive holding can be called because that's prior to the pass.
Yep.
And so Shaquille Griffin called for the infraction.
Well, here is your competition, your nickel spot that is open for a starting job, and you'll see him right in the slot, right in the middle. There's no hold, there's no hold. There's a little bit of contact, but you have got to let these guys play. If you're asking Jamar Taylor to play man-to-man coverage and knock the ball away, I did not see anything there that impeded the receiver from running his route.
Yeah, they called it outside on Shaquille Griffin, who didn't look like he did much there. Instead of being a kicking situation, it's a first down. A flag goes flying as Austin Eckler runs for 11. Let's check it out first.
Personal foul, chop block, offense number 86, 15-yard penalty, deferred first down.
It's on the tight end, Hunter Henry.
Who's coming back from an ACL a year ago, and you're going to watch him right here. And here's the key on a chop block. If the defender is engaged with somebody else right there, and you see the hand goes to Jefferson, you cannot go down when that defensive lineman's engaged.
Well, a big penalty for the Chargers, backs them up 15 yards. Most likely out of field goal range right now, but it is first down. Taylor back to pass. Or run.
And as I said, Cardale Jones is going to give you this. When Easton Stick comes in the game, the rookie out of North Dakota State, he's going to give you even more. And this is a credit to some pretty good coverage initially, right? Tyrod's a veteran guy. This isn't just one run. He's seen those defenders drop. On one occasion, he took care and took advantage of a lack of containment. Otherwise, eyes have been up, containing that run pretty well.
In his 9th year out of Virginia Tech, for the Ravens, a Pro Bowler with Buffalo, Cleveland, been around. Step forward, good pass, completed to Artavis Scott. I mean, he threaded the needle when he needed to. Bobby Wagner winds up getting tackled.
Yeah, but one of the keys there is the protection and Tyrod's ability. He's an undersized guy, and he needs the ability to step up into the pocket. And look at that. That is too much air and too much space. If you have a 4-man rush, you may not get home, but you've got to affect a quarterback, especially one like Tyrod. You need to make him move side to side. When he can step up like that, that's not good enough with the 4-man rush.
Gain of 15 makes the third down manageable. Taylor to the outside, lucky that wasn't picked off. Shaquille Griffin there on the coverage. Pass intended for Jeremy Davis, incomplete.
You know, it feels like in these one-on-one man situations, they're doing exactly what Norton wanted. Right at the top of your screen, you can see Shaquille face mask to face mask. That's a good indicator you're going to get man to man, and then he goes to the ball. He does not go through the receiver. If he goes through Mike Williams, that's pass interference, but he finds the ball, and that's the big key in year 3 for Shaquille.
Brings on Michael Badgley to attempt the field goal. 40-yard attempt here. And he gets the first points of the night. So with just under 3 minutes remaining in this opening period, the Chargers take the lead 3-0 over the Seahawks. Up next, a preview of Seahawks stories presented by American Family Insurance. Home or on the road, if you want to sport Seahawk gear like that, all you gotta do is visit the Pro Shop. They've got you covered. Jackets, tees, hoodies, hats, and more. The Pro Shop has everything your kids need for their back-to-school wear as well to stay in style for Blue Friday, game day, or every day. Find all the latest back-to-school styles in stores or online at Seahawks.com/Pro Shop.
And it's pretty amazing when you travel how much of that gear you see all over the country. We were walking around the stadium before the game. There was more Seahawk gear. In fact, we tried to talk to him. He had his game face on. Didn't even say hello back to us.
He was focused. He was ready. Chargers on top 3-0 after the 40-yard field goal by Michael Badgley. Russell Wilson waiting to get back out there. We'll see Ugo Amadi back deep to take the kick.
It's got a big drive here. Defense was on the field a long time. They were on the field quite a bit in Minnesota, too. Defense here, and I know Russell wants to find a way to possess the football and get some points.
Bounces off Amadi, scoops it up. Didn't panic. Didn't get far either. Down at the 15-yard line, and so it'll be a long field for Russell Wilson and company. Seahawks starters expected to play at least a quarter tonight. Obviously, depending on the results, we'll see what happens on this drive as we get towards the end of the first quarter for Russell Wilson.
I love what he said to us yesterday. When he goes in that huddle, he feels like he's the North Carolina basketball team in the heyday. Tempo. Just coming at you, never wanting to slow down. Getting to the right play at the line of scrimmage, but making sure they assert their tempo.
Some substitutions on offense. Rashad Penny in at running back. Gets the carry. Nice run by Penny. Gain of 6.
And you know when he got that ball in his belly, he's like, finally, I'm not I'm not getting hit behind the line, and B, just a chance to glide. Now he's going to look different than Chris. I mean, Chris is violent, and you just feel it immediately. Penny more of a glider, but 4.9 yards a carry is actually more than the 4.7 of Carson. So he may not look as violent to the eye, but trust me, at 230 and gliding, he is still a difficult guy to tackle.
He's alone in the backfield right now. End around, Tyler Lockett. Little trick play from the Seahawks, and it's good enough for a first down. A smile on his face.
A little bit of that jet sweep action, something you will see with Tyler. We did a little bit a year ago, and that just is to keep those edges honest. That's actually a little flick almost. Not even the traditional jet sweep per se, but yeah, you will see Tyler. You'll see Ursua. I bet over the course of this game have that same opportunity. An 11-yard run for Ursua last week in Minnesota. Those guys ready, built, and equipped for a play like that.
You know, lost in the Bobby Wagner, Russell Wilson signings was the one of keeping Tyler Lockett here. Big part of the Seattle offense. Here's Wilson. First time he's been under pressure. Wide open again. This time it's tipped. Intended for Lockett. Good recovery by Rayshawn Jenkins because Lockett had him beat.
Yeah, and because of the movement in the backfield by Russell, because of the challenge here, and this is where Rashad Penny has also got to try to find a way. You got to just stay in front of that edge rusher as best he can. Now, Russell erases others' mistakes. He does it constantly, but by moving like that, that gave the DB the opportunity to do just that at the high point. Otherwise, that could have been 7.
So instead, it's 2nd and 10 here. Draw play, Penny. Running room again, but still going to bring up 3rd down.
And look at Posick at the end of that play. That's what I love to see. He is finishing people on the other side of the pile. You just stand on the field pregame, and you notice a distinct difference in philosophy between these teams. The Seahawks are massive. The Chargers defensively are fast. They're about speed. And I know we're not seeing some of their number ones or a lot of their number ones defensively, but these Seahawks, no surprise to see them trying to impose their will with that size and strength at the line of scrimmage.
All right, 7 yards on that last run by Penny. 3rd and 3. They fake it to him. Wilson. Going to pick up the first down and get out of bounds without being touched. He is as good as anybody maybe in the history of this game at avoiding contact.
Say that again?
Maybe in the history of the game, at that position.
Yeah, and I don't think that's hyperbole. In the way that he does it and still protects himself. Pretty good protection here. It was well covered down the field. You can see some of that quickness for the Chargers. They do a nice job at reading and recognizing the route pattern. But Disley, a heads-up play there on the edge as well to give Russell just a little room. Not only does he erase mistakes in the backfield, but you're right, Kurt. His sixth sense and ability to get out and escape and protect himself, good as we've seen.
11-yard gain. They tried to trick the Chargers, and LA not falling for it. J.D. McKissick coming around from the wide receiver position, and Chargers sniffed that one out right away. That'll be the last play of the first quarter. Chargers getting the only point so far, a 40-yard field goal, so they lead it 3-0. As we go to break, though, a look at the 1985 Seahawks come from behind victory over the Chargers, brought to you by American Family Insurance. Seahawks football is presented by Washington's Lottery. Take it to 12 with Seahawks Scratch from Washington's Lottery. You can win $75,000 or a chance to hang with Seahawks legend Cliff Averill. Cliff will be happy with performance of the defense so far in this game. 1 quarter down, only giving up a long 40-yard field goal, and the Chargers lead at 3-0.
Yeah, and I think the edges too, where Cliff was really good for so many years of playing contained, getting upfield, and credit to the Chargers. A couple of those jet sweep plays trying to get on the edge. They've done a nice job, and I just love the energy level. The energy level of the veteran guys like Bobby and Kendricks and KJ, the smiles on their faces, just play, man. They love to play the game of football. I think you've seen that expressed in that first 15 minutes as well.
Yeah, it is a different sideline. You watch it, not only love to play, but as we go on, and Seahawk fans have seen this before, keep an eye on the starters once they're out of the game and how engaged they remain in watching the backups play and the enthusiasm that Russell Wilson, Bobby Wagner, those guys show for other guys who are simply trying to make the team right now. Wilson on the draw play. Wide open. Tyler Lockett across midfield. Rayshawn Jenkins with the tackle, but another big gain by the Seahawks, this time 20 yards.
Yeah, right in the middle of your screen, and so good in feeling the zone coverage. Look at the awareness and feel right there to sit down, to find that soft spot, and then, most importantly, to show the 1-6 to the quarterback.
Tyler Lockett looking to be the #1 guy this year.
Sure is. I'll tell you what else I noticed on that last snap, and you'll see it again at the bottom of your screen. Jas Ferguson in with the ones, getting his opportunity.
Wilson off the play fake. Downfield. Lockett open. Caught down to the 11-yard line. Another big chunk play by Seattle. Back-to-back, both to Lockett, and this time a gain of 31.
Yeah, one team likes to dink and dunk the ball. The other one likes to take some home run play-action shots. Pretty good protection. If Russ maybe has just a little less air, that might be 6, but the Pro Bowl punt returner, he'll get underneath it. Doesn't matter if it's the option route for zone or that deep over running away from the zone coverage. Well done by Lockett.
First down officially at the 12. Penny fights his way across the 10-yard line. Good second effort from Rashad Penny on that play.
I'll tell you, though, for Coach Carroll, part of the reason why he loves those shots is Russell is the best in the league at throwing them. But even though maybe he didn't have the perfect air, you know what he did? He had an open receiver, and he didn't miss it. Right? One of the worst things you can do when you have somebody like Lockett down the field is to overthrow him.
Right.
He will make it right. If Russell makes it right in the backfield with protection, Lockett can make that pass right because, well, he'll also draw contact and maybe a deep pass interference. But don't overthrow those open shots. Russell rarely does.
Penny again hitting the backfield. Couldn't even get back to the line of scrimmage. Good play made by Isaac Rochelle.
And there you go again for Rashad. I mean, right as he takes the handoff. And in the regular season, does Russell maybe pull this ball? Probably not, because they've got the extra defender and the eyes on him. And that's just well schemed by the Chargers down here in the red zone. And once again, Penny hit just as he takes the handoff.
All right, so they spread Penny wide out to the right.
There's Jas. There's that big body.
Wilson Out to the flat. Penny dancing inside the 5. He's going to be close to a first down. He could get one if he could get it to the 2-yard line. We'll see where they spot it. Looks like it might be just a hair short.
And you got to go here, right? You want to give Penny these opportunities. You know what Carson can do to the pile down here. There was no hesitation for Pete at all. He wants to see this 4th and 1 situation, and credit to Rashad right there, running through 2, 3 different tacklers to put himself in position. Looks like Coach Carroll wants a timeout to get to exactly the right play.
The first time inside the red zone tonight for either team. Seahawks trying to turn it into 7 points here in the second quarter. Check out how Seahawks Legends Community gives back. Presented by American Family Insurance. Fourth and 1. Inside the 5. 4th down. The handoff. Penny needs to get the 2. Gets that and all the way into the end zone. Touchdown, Seahawks. Guys, just moments ago while we were gone, the Seahawks went forward on 4th down. Handed the ball to Rashad Penny. Needed to get the 2. He got that and then some. Into the end zone. Good second effort. Penny with the touchdown, and the Seahawks take the lead.
And back-to-back plays where number 20 did so much of the heavy lifting, and I know that's got to feel so good to him, taking advantage of the opportunity.
Jason Myers on for the point after, and just like that, Seahawks are up. First time tonight. We expected to see quite a bit of Rashad Penny. He got quite a bit of action on that drive and made it pay off.
He sure did. You just want to get the former first-round pick in space, right? Just let him get started. And this was the 3rd and extra long situation. Seahawks go empty, and Russell doesn't force it down the field. And you're going to watch Rashad make 4 Chargers defenders miss right here. He catches it. You got to make that guy miss. That's number 1. Here comes the pursuit. There's 2. There's 3. There's Rochelle, the big defensive end, full steam ahead, running through that tackle. And Coach Carroll loves it. He has been waiting. Coach Carroll, in my opinion, loves running backs as much as any head coach in this league. He loved it, and there was no question who was going to get the ball on 4th and 1, and it was Rashad. And it's the eyes up, it's driving the legs, it's knowing where to finish, and it's not that initial contact bringing him down, but the size and strength to punch it into the end zone.
You know, obviously Penny battled those injuries last year. You know, he had the big game against San Francisco kind of in the middle of the season. But I wonder how much, I think people forget sometimes too, as a rookie, he missed a lot of training camp with that hand injury. And it's kind of hard to catch up once the season starts, I assume.
Oh, and he was real honest about that. He's like, yeah, I didn't know what it meant to be a pro in every way. I didn't know what it meant to get my rest and to eat right. The game came pretty easy at San Diego State, right? Was a big playmaker all the time. Well, you move up to the big boy league, and how are you going to differentiate and separate yourself? It's often the littlest of things, and you don't always learn those things your rookie year.
And also, you don't get the reps in August. I mean, if you're out after injuring your hand and you're a running back and you're sitting on the sideline right now, you can talk mental reps all you want, but you don't get to run a series like that where you break tackles, where you have to have second and third effort. And then once you get the regular season, it's a different speed.
Well, I'll tell you one other cool thing is just being around the building this last week in particular, and you see how much he and Chris Carson hang out. To me, that speaks volumes, right? Two talented guys that know that, well, both of them are going to have to play a role in this system the way they want to play. And, you know, they're fighting for carries, right? They're fighting for their opportunity, but, man, are they rooting for one another as well.
Compete. There's that word you hear so much around this team. See Chad Morton, running backs coach, right there in the middle.
And that's about the yards they're looking for right there, right? And a bunch of them, some yards after contact as well, yards after catch.
So Seattle on top, 7-3. A couple minutes into the second quarter, Jason Myers kicks it off. Here's Tremaine Pope. Calls himself safe after taking a knee.
And by the way, how much do you want to bet post-game? Coach Carroll says, how cool was that for Rashad?
Right. Yeah.
How cool to take advantage of the third down pass and then follow it up with the plowing into the end zone. As I said, Coach Carroll loves his running backs. He's seen a bunch of them. His years at USC, obviously Marshawn, Chris a year ago, a breakthrough year. He loves his running backs.
All right, so after the touchback, Tyrod Taylor still in at quarterback for the Chargers from their 25-yard line.
The one's still in largely defensively.
Exactly. Here's Eckler. Gets around the edge. Wrapped up from behind. Trey Flowers with the tackle.
He'll give you that. He did that as a rookie last year, learning on the job to transition from safety to corner. There was no question. One of the best young corners in the run game when it came to making those tackles. And in this scheme, they'll play a little bit of too deep, but they'll play an awful lot where you're responsible as well for that outside containment.
Their experience as a safety making those tackles in college at Oklahoma State certainly showed up last year. And again on that 9-yard gain. Taylor from the shotgun. Pressure. Got a man wide open. Austin Eckler. No one within 20 yards of him. And Taylor overthrew it.
Well, compare and contrast that. And look at the body language with Russell. Well, we talked about earlier that you cannot miss when you've got somebody that open. A bunch of zone coverage. Seahawks playing base defense to a little bit of a nickel empty look. And you're going to see him. You saw, in fact, what was it, a year ago, Travis Benjamin ran that route for a touchdown in this game. That's what you want to do if you have time, which Tyrod did. He just missed it deep down the field. And Phillips like, yep, I probably wouldn't have missed that one.
Yeah, I would have had that one. No problem. We'd be back on top. Here comes the blitz. Taylor keeps it. Outruns Trey Flowers for the first down.
See Trey right there clapping his hands, right? He's a little bit frustrated because he knows the down and distance here too and the opportunity to get off the field. And Tyrod's a guy that if you hesitate for a second, right? Most quarterbacks in this league can't do that. Lamar will, Russell will, but you hesitate for a second, give Tyrod the opportunity to get outside of you.
So a first down at the 38-yard line. Justin Jackson. Seahawks have him stretched out. Good job. Shaquille Griffin with the tackle, but Bobby Wagner and KJ Wright were the two guys who made that play.
Yeah, you saw it. You had your binoculars on.
Binoculars.
Why do you need those? We're so close to the field. What's going on?
Well, I didn't need them when I was 35. Let's just say it that way.
Well, what you saw through those were perfect run fits. That's exactly what you saw. Coming right downhill, pushing that run play further out and further out and further out. Right to the edge, and that 12th defender that is the boundary. They come again.
And they get him. Michael Kendricks was first. Officially, you can give the sack to Brandon Jackson.
Well, I don't think Ken Norton loved to see that 4-man rush and the time that Eckler had as a running back to get 40 yards down the field. And this is what Kenny said to us yesterday. He wants to force the issue. And once again, it's Bobby and Kendricks. A blitz you're going to see a bunch this year. You know, we'll see with Ziggy and when Jaron comes back and everything else, but until then, Ken Norton is not going to let quarterbacks get comfortable, and having weapons like Bobby and Michael to come downhill and do that damage now puts you in a very favorable 3rd and extra long.
Chargers have to get all the way to the 48-yard line. Taylor underneath to Eckler. Makes a move, caught from behind by Jacob Martin. KJ Wright had him lined up for a second. Wow. Eckler able to evade him. Martin made the stop, and he's going to be short of the first down right now.
And that is all effort of number 59, Dave Wyman's guy, to watch tonight. It looks like the Chargers are saying, that's fine, we're going to go for it on 4th and 1, but that's a first down if that DN, Martin, is not flying down the field. And now the Chargers will go for it on 4th and 1. Right
in the middle of the field, especially in preseason. You think, why not? fumble, snap. Well, it won't be a first down. It'll be the Seahawks ball, whether they recovered the fumble or whether it's a turnover on downs. Seahawks defense making the stop. They hold on to the lead 7-3 midway through this second quarter. Makes the stop. It winds up being a turnover on down. Fumble snap. Hunter Henry did recover it for the Chargers, but obviously didn't get the first down, so the Seahawks D does its job.
And look at the first two guys to go look at the pictures. And that tells you all you need to see. Guys in ball caps on the other side, that's fine. That's the philosophy of a lot of teams in this league. Bobby and KJ add up their Pro Bowls, add up their years of experience. I think some 1,600 tackles between those two guys in the third preseason game. I got to see what's going on. I got to see the pictures. I got to see what happened. Maybe on that 3rd and 19. What happened on that zone play to let Eckler run down the field.
Seahawks starters on offense pretty much still in the game. Good starting field position here at the Charger 45. Rashad Penny tripped up in the backfield. Fights his way back to the line of scrimmage. There is a flag on the play.
This is going to be interesting. We had a fullback sighting, I think, for the first time this preseason.
Nick Ballore.
There was no foul on the play. The hold was on the defense. Second down.
Well, can you call a hold on the defense?
Not on the running play. Because there's a running play, that's why. Had it been a pass play, it would have stood. There's your officiating lesson for the night.
Oh, thank you. Okay. I'd like to get Dean Blandino on the phone with that one. We'll see.
I'll have him text you. They wind up losing about a third of a yard if you want to measure exactly.
Drives to the bottom of the field. Let's see if he can get a one-on-one situation. Looks like he might.
There was some movement by the Chargers. So flags come out everywhere, and everybody's saying, hey, he made me move. No, I didn't. You moved first.
That might be on Jermaine Ifedi.
Prior to any movement, false start. Offense number 53, the center, snap infraction. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
And that's on Joey Hunt. He's one of the rare backups, or one of the few backups, we should say, in there at center right now.
And you can see the conversation, and Ifedi's pointing to him with the head bob. And I think that is going to be what the call was. It was the movement of the head there. Joey right in the middle at center, yeah.
We've seen that movement call a lot in the preseason. Cardinals have gotten called a couple times for fake clapping. And so obviously the officials paying attention to that movement prior to the snap. Here's Russell Wilson, gets through a hole. He's got plenty of room. Down the sideline, out of bounds, big block, thrown as well. There are flags from everywhere as Gary Jennings laid out a Charger defender.
And that is a play that instinctively Gary Jennings has made his whole life. But that is a rule change in the NFL on a blindside block that you cannot do anymore.
Personal foul. Offense number 11. Blindside block. 15-yard penalty. Result of the play, still a first down.
And that has been one of those rule changes this offseason.
Yeah, this is teaching tape, and I'm sure will be showed to all the rest of the teams in the league. A wonderful job by Russell to feel that space. And then to know I got to get out of bounds, and you'll see that hit fly in there. Jennings helping his buddy out. That's not a penalty in years past. Right? That's on highlight reels in the 80s and 90s and 2000s, but unfortunately today what Gary has to do is just run right by him. You can still come back and technically block him, but it has to be basically crossing his face.
It's like you have to be a basketball player almost,
yes,
and just put your body between the defender and the goal line. Anytime you go back towards your own goal line, unless you extend your hands and your arms, you're not allowed to hit with a shoulder or any other body part. And that's the rule change you talk about years past. He would have been a penalty last year.
Yeah, and defenders have cried for years, hey, what about us? When we're defenseless players, you're calling all these penalties against us. How about protecting the defensive guys or the coverage units? And that's exactly what this rule is in place for.
And so it negates the 18-yard run by Russell Wilson. Back Seattle up almost to midfield. Quick pass. Wilson making the catch. Jerron Brown.
Oh. we've seen two things here on this drive. A little unique. We saw a fullback in Nick Ballore, and that time we see that run-pass option.
And he
watch the offensive line. They're all run blocking, right? They don't know it's a run or pass. They're doing their job in run blocking. And Russell pulls the ball right out and puts it right on the money. Some easy yards. Everybody else in the league has really featured that concept over the last couple years. And Jerron found a way to come off the field, maybe a little bit banged up, but great completion.
Gain of 18. Here's CJ Preseason. His first carry of the night. 8, maybe 9 yards on it.
Fresh legs. And hard. Look at Big Fluke once again. He just eats up. Look at that. Look at Joey Hunt and DJ Fluker. Two guys built totally different. But when they work in tandem like that, teaching tape getting to the second level. And a good hard run by CJ behind his pads.
Give him 9. Second carry for Preseason. Bouncing it outside. First down and more. A couple of nice moves from CJ Preseason on that one.
Yeah, there is a reason over 3 years and about a dozen injuries or so over those years, Kurt, this guy has continued to stick around because he has this kind of vision and burst. And once again, at his size, it is pretty unique, 225 plus, and a nice job. So remember, I mean, 100-yard game, big game against Philly, big game against New England, big opportunity, big upside. Just unfortunately a big injury history that's not allowed him to show it off.
10 yards on his last run. He gets it again, cuts it back. Fighting his way down inside the 5. Gain of 7. The last drive was Rashad Penny's. This one is all Preseason.
And if Coach Carroll is going to talk about Rashad postgame, I guarantee you if CJ finishes this drive off, he'll say the same thing. How stinking cool to give CJ these chances and just watch him be as explosive as they anticipate him being.
Wilson up top towards Jazz Ferguson. Flag comes out late in the end zone. They're going to call pass interference against the Chargers. It'll be first and goal.
And that's their starting corner, Michael Davis.
Pass interference. Defense number 43. The foul occurred in the end zone. The ball will be placed at the 1-yard line. Automatic first down.
And that's what you get when you get a big 6'5" body like Jazz Ferguson.
Yeah, you want these one-on-one chances. As Russell said to us yesterday, he's just got such tremendous range. And you see how the DB impeded the opportunity for Jazz to get the ball? Russell wanted that flag. He got it. That's pretty clear and easy one.
So first and goal from the 1-yard line. Preseason gets the handoff and into the end zone. Touchdowns on back-to-back possessions for Seattle. Both in the run game. Rashad Penny first, and now CJ Preseason.
What did you ask me in the open of the show, the pregame show, Kurt? What do we expect to see tonight? We expect to see the blueprint that is Seattle Seahawks football. And that's to hit you right in the mouth at the line of scrimmage with varying runs and to stick to that run and then ultimately take the shots off of it. And whether it's Chris Carson, whether it's Rashad Penny, or in this case, CJ, multiple backs that like to put their pads down and push the pile.
They missed the extra point, however. Jason Myers no good on that one. But still a good possession for Seattle. Preseason giving him the 6, and the Seahawks lead it by 10.
Well, some teaching tape tonight, especially at the line of scrimmage in the run game. Watch the Seahawks here. Watch Joey Hunt, and this is really good by Fluke and Ifedi on the double team to the second level here. Everybody gets a hat on a hat, but you've got to get to the second level, and watch Joey Hunt. He's one of the smallest guys on that offensive line, but he is sticky, right? And look at them drive and finish. They are going to love to watch this film tomorrow. The running backs, they get the touchdown in the stat sheet. Joey Hunt, Ethan Posett, Fluke, Ifedi, they get the highlight film and they get the recognition on the game tape.
Myers puts that one through the end zone, so another touchback, but We have talked about the running game tonight. Man, it has been impressive. And you can have your chance to actually see them live in person. Catch Seahawk football under the lights at CenturyLink Field this season. Get tickets to primetime games against the Rams and the Vikings before they're gone. All you have to do to secure your seats is go to Seahawks.com/tickets tonight. And we have raved about the performance of the running backs here lately, but I mean, this offensive line has been dominant in this game so far.
And they should have been. You know, no one coming in here. Some of the ones in that front seven of the Chargers not playing. Still some starters and certainly a competent group that went 12-4, and they're dominating them.
Cardell Jones now in at quarterback for the Chargers. Virgil Green with the reception. There's a flag down as well. Jones, the former Ohio State quarterback.
Now the twos in the game. Barton, Calitro, who've had a really good training camp. And they're going to get their opportunity against Cardell, who can throw it down the field.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well, they didn't name a guy. It's against the Seahawks. So.
Well, it came in around the tackle, so it had to be either Barton or Calitro.
So 15 yards get added on, and all of a sudden, Chargers are at midfield.
Wow.
Well, we're not sure that's it, though. I mean, that's on the tackle.
Yeah, but you see the penalty flags are going to come around where the penalty is. Man, that's a miss.
Moves it to the Seattle 47. All kinds of motion for the Chargers. Justin Jackson following a blocker. Gets away. Another flag comes flying. Now look, Shaquille Griffin didn't make the tackle there, but he slowed Jackson down enough to give everybody else a chance.
Holding, offense number 11, 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
And created that. Right, you're going to see Shaquille right here, right at the bottom, and just that instinct to get inside, and then the block there, the hold. Ooh, I don't know. That's kind of back-to-back. That's back-to-back calls. One against the Seahawks. And one for the Seahawks there, but both Shaquille and Trey, there's some corners in this league that you watch college tape and you wonder, are they going to come in this league and be willing to tackle? There was no question about either of these two corners from Oklahoma State or Central Florida, and to mix it up too to get right there in that D gap and really help draw that penalty flag.
And now a conference among the officials right now.
I think the conference has said, can we make sure we're on this? Because that first one, they had to call some helmet-to-helmet contact. And that's the only thing that you could possibly imagine as far as...
Well, the announcement just wasn't clear either. Preseason for them as well.
Yep.
So a first down at the 45 after the penalty. Cardell Jones, his first pass attempt. Open. Artavis Scott. Slips away from Tedrick Thompson, who tried to line him up, but it winds up being a big gain for this Chargers offense. Trey Flowers eventually made the tackle, but only after a 31-yard pickup.
Yeah, and this is the deep over that you're going to get right behind the linebackers. You're going to see Kendricks and Barton, and even Tedrick Thompson. You could see Kendricks, he's peeking. He knows what's coming, but that's just a perfectly thrown football right off his ear. And once again, largely set up because of the ability of Cardell to step up into the pocket and make that throw.
From the Seattle 24. Jackson through a hole. Brought down by Leno Hill and Cody Barton. And of course, Hill trying to come back from that hip injury that ended his season last year.
And playing catch-up. Missed the entire offseason with that injury. Really was a little slow coming back to training camp. He's got a couple weeks under his belt. And Tedrick McDougal probably a step ahead. But Leno, remember at the end of the year, he was playing the critical reps. He was getting the #1 reps. Fighting to get that opportunity back.
Had hip surgery and cut off a couple of letters off his first name. Used to be Delano Hill, now just Leno. Justin Jackson. Good job by Jaron Reed of catching him in the backfield. He eventually wrestled him down with a second try.
Once again, Shaq Griffin all over it. We wanted tighter coverage, right? We saw a beautiful pass break up on a 3rd down earlier. This is 3rd and 3, probably going to be man-to-man coverage. But Shaq did this, Trey did this a year ago, and when he hits you, he's going to finish you.
We've seen a couple of nice plays from Griffin tonight on defense. We're at the 2-minute warning. Seahawks up by 10.
Seahawks football is presented by Washington's Lottery. Take it to 12 with Seahawks Scratch from Washington's Lottery. You could win $75,000 or a chance to hang with Seahawks legend Cliff Averill. Back here in Carson, California, the Seahawks leading the Chargers 13-3 at the 2-minute warning. Aaron Levine with Dave Wyman. Dave, how about Rashad Penny and C.J. Prosise getting in the end zone in the first half?
Yeah, what do you do if C.J. Prosise runs for 100 yards tonight? I mean, and Rashad Penny finally got going, and you saw that extra effort that he had to get into the end zone. Saw exactly what you wanted from Chris Carson, but C.J. Prosise making it kind of messy.
More analysis coming up in a couple minutes. Get back to Kurt and Brock.
Man-to-man coverage.
Seahawks defense will try to come up with one more stop here on 3rd down. Jones underneath. It is caught. Troymaine Pope. Michael Kendricks right there with it.
You know, we saw that exact play in the first game, and it was Calitro that came in. Remember? You get that running back out there, and those running backs usually do just a couple things. They run a little hitch, they run a little fade, or on 3rd and 3, they're going to try to beat that linebacker inside, and a nice tackle by Kendricks forcing the 4th down.
So 4th and about a yard. Chargers look like they're in decision mode. Looks like they're going to go for it again. Cardell Jones still out there at quarterback. For the 2nd time tonight, they've gone for it on 4th down. Didn't get it the last time. Actually, didn't even execute the snap well. Is there a Buckeye reunion going on at quarterback tonight? J.T. Barrett's with the Seahawks. Now Cardell Jones.
Cardell fighting, trying to make this roster. And you're going to see Eason Stick, the rookie out of North Dakota State, that's pushing him.
That's a kid that broke all of Carson Wentz's records there. Fourth and a yard.
Some confusion defensively.
Troymaine Pope caught in the backfield. Didn't get it. There's Michael Kendricks making the stop. And another turnover on downs forced by the Seahawk D. Tonight, Michael Kendricks and company have answered the call. So Russell Wilson's night is done, and probably his preseason, but leading Seattle to touchdown drives on the last 2 possessions. Good night for him.
Yeah, I mean, he was just nearly perfect, other than the one little double move that, you know, I don't think he saw the DB fall down, the miss to Malik. Outside of that, used his legs, moved chains, hit his shots down the field, and he's looked all off season, and really this training camp as well. He is just in total control. Don't know if I've ever seen him toy with defenses the way he has this preseason.
He just looks comfortable in everything he does right now. So with him out, Geno Smith then at quarterback, and he hands it off to the young man who got the last touchdown, C.J. Prosise.
And you still see some of those one linemen. I like this. At least giving Geno a chance in this situation right here. A lot of injuries on that O-line, but Fluke, Posick, and Cruz still in.
Yeah, those 3 starters in. A mix of starters and backups right now, and pass is caught. Adrian Phillips with the tackle as soon as it was caught by Jacob Hollister. Hurry up offense here inside of 2 minutes. First down for Seattle. Smith going up top. Amara Darboh, the intended receiver. There's some hand fighting, but no flags.
Gosh, and that is just off. You can see Geno right there clapping his hands. Right, the opening game, he had a go route to DK Metcalf, the exact same play. Right, and that ball just carried a little bit out of bounds for DK, and that time Amaro giving Geno the chance. And I know you're a little juiced. You've been watching that entire half. You just got to try to keep that ball in bounds. Just a near miss.
Of course, Geno in the battle with Paxton Lynch to be the backup to Russell Wilson. Missed last week's game after a little knee surgery, but back this week. Had a cyst removed, so nothing major. Floats that one out there. CJ Prosise pulls it in and then keeps it going. Out across the 40-yard line. Another big game for the Seahawks. And will they use their first time out? Not yet. Pardon me, I meant to say their last time out. Gain of 15 to the 43. Got him. Smith looking. Jennings. Caught. No, they say he was out of bounds. Michael Davis, the corner there with him, forcing Jennings out.
Yeah, this is good at West Virginia, just like that block, but I think it is
Didn't get the left foot down.
No, he did not. That wouldn't have been good for the Mountaineers either. I thought it was the second one, but nope, it was that first one, just inches. And when I said he's got him, it's because he got on top of the starting corner, Davis, but unfortunately ran out of some of that real estate. I'd again like to just fight even more to stay right on top and give yourself as much room as possible.
Smith rolling, wide open on the right side. Takes the yardage he can, moves the sticks, and gets out of bounds.
And Gino had his best week of work. And probably not as a surprise. Paxton Lynch is pushing him. Paxton will not play with the concussion that he took and coming out of protocol last week and protecting him. He's going to get to play a ton against the Raiders, more than likely. But just watching Gino this week, arm looked fresh. Got the cyst removed, as you said, from the knee. And a good drive here. And you're thinking 3. And you may also be thinking one more shot with that timeout still in your pocket.
And 27 seconds in Charger territory. From the 46, the handoff, Penny. Couldn't quite get away, almost. Give him 5 yards on the run, tripped up in the backfield.
And you'll still see, high school football in the state of Washington, Kurt, started last week on Wednesday, and you'll still see that drill the running backs do, that hand plant drill right there. That was done 50 years ago. That's still done today. Look at Penny as he takes and again runs through some contact here. An unblocked linebacker, and watch him use that hand, and just not quite able to get all the way the momentum all the way back up to the full stride, but still, because of that, picked up 5 yards. And as we were watching Jason Myers in warm-ups today, they're in range right now. So this is a real situational awareness that everybody on the field has to have. You've got no timeouts if you're Gino. You cannot take a sack because you are in Myers' range. And the Chargers know it as they're showing blitz.
But they don't come. 4-man rush out of the backfield. Penny dancing, and he does get out. You're wondering about the decision to cut back inside for half a second, but he made the move and made it pay. $15 ticks left.
Yeah, and if you're going to make that move, you better get out of bounds. Right, had an opportunity here to probably just run right out. Shoe comes off, good little juke. And here you save the opportunity for the field goal by getting out of bounds.
Smith on 3rd down. Quick pass to the sideline. Jacob Hollister, he gets the first and out of bounds. 11 seconds remaining.
Yeah, now you're flirting a little bit. Right?
Do you go for the end zone right now?
This is where this to me is that danger zone, right? I mean, everybody, Gino is a veteran guy, has to be in this huddle. And Gino himself has to know that this ball has got to go to the sidelines, got to go to the end zone with no timeouts. You cannot risk the 3 points you feel good about the range you're in right now.
Here we go. Towards the sideline. Open is Darboh. Pass way over his head, and a big hit delivered as well by Adrian Phillips. No flags.
You can see the Seahawks sidelines, Coach Pete and crew running down those sidelines. Curious as to why no penalty in that situation.
I don't think it would be pass interference because the ball was not catchable, but it could have been a personal foul for the hit.
And you saw the violent one, you remember, on Cody Barton earlier.
And they can make that call. So no flags on the play, which means this is a 53-yard attempt for Jason Myers. We got Seahawks running on the field right now. Flags all over the place. Just a lot of confusion on special teams. Seattle not having enough guys out there. Then 2 players ran out, and then 1 ran back off. And that's going to turn a 53-yard attempt into an even longer one, probably 58. We'll see exactly what the call is.
And missed it to boot. And you saw Larry Izzo, the assistant special teams coach, in the background of that last shot, kind of shaking his head, saying, what in the world was that fire drill?
Number 88 came in, never got set. The illegal shift turns into a false start inside 2 minutes. 5-yard penalty, repeat 4th down.
So it will be a 58-yard attempt. If they line up and try it again.
And you can see Pat McPherson here. He's yelling at his tight end. He knows he's the wing and he's got to get in there. That wing is not set.
Well, they only had 10 guys out there. That was the problem. Then they yelled for 1 more to come, but 2 guys went out. You see Cody Barton going out as well, and at that point, it was a disaster. All right, so this will be a 58-yard kick by Myers. That's the longest of his career, actually, his rookie year in Jacksonville. He kicked a 58-yarder back in 2015.
And rules expert, I believe, because the clock was stopped. That's why there's not a 10-second runoff.
You are correct, sir. You are correct, sir.
You hear that, Pereira?
And there's Desmond King, just in case it doesn't make it through the uprights. Might try to return this. So here we go. Tyler Ott with the snap. Michael Dixon with the hold.
He was good pregame from here.
58 yards is the spot. It is up. It's got the distance. And it's through. What penalty? 58 yards from their Pro Bowl kicker, Jason Myers. Now you see why they re-signed him this offseason. Was in camp this time last year, battling Sebastian Janikowski. Didn't win that. Went to the New York Jets. Had 5 field goals over 50 yards. Made it to the Pro Bowl. And now he's back here in Seattle, the only kicker in camp, and shows you why.
Yeah, it just sounds different. We were down on the field, and it's just like a great golfer. Right, when you're on the course with a great golfer, it's just a thud, right? It is just a different level of contact. Coach Carroll, he knows it, he loves it. He's going to need that this season with their style of play. It's so critical, those points before half. And good job by Gino and crew to pay off that situation. And, you know, I was watching him make 50-yarders pre. I mean, it's perfect kicking conditions tonight, right? Bermuda turf. 75 degrees, maybe even a little breeze, and man, was he blasting the ball pregame as well.
Yeah, he did miss that 1 extra point. Otherwise, it has been a stellar night for him and a good finish in his first half for the Seahawks. The last 3 possessions, they get 2 touchdowns and a 58-yard field goal from Jason Myers. And so the Seahawks lead the Chargers here on the road in this 3rd game of the preseason, 16-3. The halftime show with Aaron and Dave coming your way on the other side.
Back here at Dignity Health Sports Park in Southern California, the Seahawks leading the LA Chargers 16-3 at the half. Let's take a look at the halftime stats, Dave. And really, they wanted to establish the run in the first half. That's exactly what they did. 125 rushing yards. If you add 2 stops on 4th down by the Seahawks defense and a 58-yard field goal, that's a solid first half in all 3 phases of the game.
Very solid. And then you see the 100 yards passing, a lot of it play action pass. And one of those plays, a little play action away, and then a deep sail route by Tyler Lockett the other way. Russell hits that. He kind of hung one up for him and didn't get it there when he wanted to, but we saw Tyler score a touchdown on that play against Denver last year in Week 1. So the run sets up the pass for this team.
Assuming Russell Wilson doesn't play in the final preseason game, it's nice to see that his final 2 drives end in touchdowns.
Yeah, and I loved seeing what Geno Smith was able to do coming in the game there at the end of the half, and had a nice Russell-like scramble to get a first down. So he's looked good so far. Just need to see more good Geno Smith.
We'll see what Geno Smith can do in the second half. Let's send it back up to the booth and rejoin Kurt and Brock, guys.
All right, before we get to the second half, looking back at that first half, the 2 caveats: 1, it is preseason, and 2, the Chargers didn't play a lot of their starters.
Yeah.
The Seahawks, though, they had a mission, and they came out and accomplished that, I think, on both sides of the football tonight.
Yeah, I think there's no question about that. They wanted to be physical up front. I thought this was the best their O-line, but this looked like the O-line that was fresh in the first half of last year. They got a little banged up, Sweezy and Fluke at the end of last year, but they imposed their will. You know, Pete has this number. He likes it to be around 50 of the number of rushing attempts plus completions. 25 rushing attempts, 10 completions. That's I can do this math. You're on your way to 70.
Yeah.
And I don't know the last time they had a number like that, and it speaks to their style of play, man. You know, you run the ball, you hit your shots down the field, and then you know what else, Kurt? They were aggressive defensively. You know, they wanted to see these 3 linebackers on the field. They wanted to see some of those pressures, some of those blitzes you're going to see from the Seahawks group, maybe a little bit more from the second level than you've ever seen before.
And those 3 linebackers, Bobby Wagner, KJ Wright, and Michael Kendrick in particular, brought pressure in this ball game. And you know what? We talked about it earlier. Seahawks have to find a way to get some pressure from somewhere. If they play like that, this is what they want them to do. They can bring it via the blitz or other ways without just relying on your defensive linemen to get it.
And they're unique, right? I mean, they're all just different. They're so fast in Bobby and Michael. And I think they're also very instinctive players. I'll be curious here in the second half, because that's Ben Burkervin, that's Cody Barton, right? That's a little bit of Austin Calitro, but those guys, you know, like to pull the trigger and get after the quarterback as well.
And so the Seahawks score in their final 3 possessions of the first half, a couple of touchdowns, and then that long 58-yard field goal, and they will get the ball to begin the second half after winning the opening toss and deferring. And there's a good look at Shaquille Griffin. He had a really nice first half as well.
I thought on the perimeter in coverage was very sticky, was very tight. Right in the middle of the field, you still see that deep over. You still, saw both quarterbacks from the Chargers step up into the pocket and find some of the voids. But a nice half there, and Bobby knows it with Shaq and those guys, and continuity they had of playing a bunch of ball in the first half.
How does he get all that under a helmet? Really?
Carefully.
Ugo Amadi takes a knee, and so the Seahawks will begin at the 25-yard line. We saw Geno Smith on that final possession of the first half and led them to a long field goal drive.
Did you ever roll that look?
No.
Never?
I had a fro, though. There's some pictures somewhere, trust me. I had a fro that was probably that big. Maybe a little more unkempt. It was a long time ago, young man.
Well, there's a guy I'd like to see tonight, John Ursua. He has had a really good couple weeks of practice. Kind of curious to see him and lined up there with Jazz. If those guys get going in the second half, too.
It is all backups right now for the Seahawks, and there's your guy, Ursua. Still in bounds all the way across the 50-yard line. I think the Chargers thought he was going to step out. He curled it back in and got more yardage.
You know, my buddy Jay Keeps was down in Southern California with these guys working out. Right, and it was something that Russell put together, kind of Camp Russell, right? Camp Seahawk down there. And he walked away and said, man, Ursua, it didn't matter. Ping pong, basketball, baseball, like whatever he did, he's just a little baller, just a little gamer. And we have seen him now in every game when the ball is in his hands, there's just a different gear.
Picked up 28 yards on that pass. Geno, Jennings, and Gary Jennings again. Another Seahawk first down, give him 12.
So they call this concept a little sneak concept. All right, so with Ursua, he lined up in that spot and he snuck under the line. Jennings comes in motion. You see him in motion there, but it's the same exact deal. You're sneaking underneath. All of the run is going away to affect the eyes of the D-line and the linebackers, and then you sneak that receiver through. They got to get through traffic. Both Ursua and Jennings do, and they make the Chargers pay.
Jennings, a 4th-round pick. Ursua, 7th-round rookie. Another fake. Smith sliding and caught. Pass complete to the tight end, Jacob Hollister. Well, good start to this third quarter.
and 3 play-action passes. Run, play-action pass. You run for 125. You know what the conversation in the Chargers locker room was.
Stop the run.
Gus Bradley, former D coordinator, he knows it on his side. Got to stop Schottenheimer's run. And what does Brian do? He comes right out in the second half and scripts 3 beautiful play-action passes.
First run of the second half. J.D. McKissick gets another Seattle first down.
And I think what else you do with that play action is you help the number 2 and number 3 O-line here. Right, I'm on my board here. I'm looking. I got no Upati, no Jones, no Fant, no Simmons. Right, you got a lot of bodies that are missing. And instead of just kind of being targets and dropping back in the pocket, let those guys get settled. Move the pocket. Give the Chargers a little something different to look at. Flies all the way around.
Seahawks down to the 22 now. McKissick running room inside the 20. Give him 6 yards on that run. An injured Charger. I think it may be the linebacker Denzel Perryman who's yet to get up. It looks like he's in pain right now.
You know, we showed the O-line in the first half. Watch the pull here. That's Joey Hunt again, and he is coming around. And Joey Hunt is showing you a little bit of Poona Ford on the other side. You don't have to be 6'6" and 340. If you get on guys, get into their body and get underneath them, you have a chance to finish those blockers too.
Good to see Perriman walking off. You got to take a quick time out on the field.
You know, I'm looking at my O-line chart here. I got 6'6", 325, 6'5", 340, 6'5", 340, and then I got 6'2",
yeah.
6'2", 295.
Yeah.
But Joey Hunt is showing you if you know how to leverage. Right, we saw it on the goal line, short yardage run. You just saw it on that last play where he's pulling. If you know what you're doing, you know angles, and you know how to leverage, you can be just as effective right in the middle of that line.
Seahawks with 2 tight ends. J.D. McKissick slipped. And that cost him. He still picked up a couple of yards on the play. You know, you talk about Joey Hunt. I mean, here's a guy, he seems like every year, oh, will he make the team? He's got a battle. But you look at him, and we can joke about his size. He's really changed his body from where he was when he first came into the league a couple seasons ago. I mean, he was really a small guy coming out of TCU.
But he knows how to play the game and set the table for everybody else, which is exactly what that position has to do.
3rd and short. McKissick. First down. Flag comes flying late as well, as ball will be spotted inside the 10. Drew Tranquil on the tackle.
You know what Coach Carroll's favorite bowl game was? I think it was last year. It may have been the previous one. He came into our little Monday interview. And Mike Salk and I said, man, did you watch that Army game? Can you believe it? They ran it 83 times. It's the greatest game ever.
That was, I think it was last year, yeah.
He loves this, man. He loves winning and dominating that line of scrimmage.
So they did pick up the flag. It's 1st and goal. Gino off the play fake. Too much for Hollister, incomplete.
Yeah, a little coaching point there, I think, for Gino. You see him falling away from that throw. On a bunch of those other play actions, right? You just got to still find a way to square your body, get your body going towards the target. Because if you're fading away from it, unfortunately, that ball will drift as well. As you see him pretty sharp here on this drive. Pretty sharp, leading the field goal drive before half. But just a little fundamental deal there allowed that ball to sail far and away from Hollister.
Smith to his left. McKissick down to the 3. Are you surprised that Gino is able to play this poised, considering he missed time with the cyst injury and then had surgery, missed last week's game as well?
Yeah, not really. He's got a bank of experience. He played for these Chargers a year ago in the preseason. Been on a number of different teams, and really he had an excellent week. You know, the team came back, and I think he got a chance to get fresh, and then just watching him practice this week, his arm was live. I think his body felt good. And as a veteran guy, Kurt, I think he has enough experience to walk in and do what he's doing tonight. One-on-one to the bottom to Jazz if he wants it. Man-to-man coverage.
Ursua in motion, back and forth. They hand it off. No, they don't. Smith on the keeper.
So they run that little motion, right? You saw that little motion. That's just a little bit of a tell of man or zone. Defenses know that too. Right? And that's why you were kind of looking at that last play and, okay, what are they going to give you down here? Had the one-on-one, decided to go to the zone read, and now yet again another great situation of evaluation with the 4th and 1.
From the 2-yard line, 4th and goal. Smith looking with time to the outside. Desmond King broke it up, intended for Gary Jennings, and there are no flags. So the Seahawks will turn it over on downs.
That's your starting nickel for the Chargers. And he plays it, well, like a guy that's played a ton of football does. He's right in the hip of the rookie Jennings, nowhere to go. And on one of the rare occasions, the Chargers find a way to get off the field. So Seahawks fans have watched this route concept for years with, well, Golden Tate and then Lockett and Baldwin. It's just a little slant route with a corner here, and you're trying to create a rub, right? You got man-to-man coverage, and you want to create a rub right there. At that point, you want to take your defender, if you're Jazz Ferguson, into the nickelback and try to create some separation. And unfortunately, better played there by a couple veterans from the Chargers than 2 rookies, very much feeling out the timing and kind of the rhythm of that route combination.
So after the 11-play, 5.5-minute drive, they turn it over on downs. Chargers start from the 2-yard line. Ears pinned back, everybody ready to go for the Seahawks, and Justin Jackson picks up maybe half a yard.
Nice job there by Jamie Meter. You know, this number 2 defensive line crew has done a pretty good job this preseason. Got some strong, powerful guys there as well. See Meter, he blows that play up. Penetration right back into the end zone, giving Jackson the inability to get started.
Cardell Jones still in at quarterback. Out of the backfield, Justin Jackson chased down by Austin Calitro.
Good open field tackle, Kurt.
It was. And he's had a nice camp.
Playing that inside out. Right, you saw KJ earlier on that 3rd and 19 in a really tough spot, a 2-way go with so much field. Swing route into the short side of the field. Calitro knew where that extra defender was, so he plays it inside out, secures the tackle, and gets his defense into a 3rd and 6.
Los Angeles looking for the 12-yard line. Seahawks defense looking for one more stop on 3rd down.
Looking to get Mingo a rush here.
He's at that left defensive end position. Jones forced to pull it down and double pump, and lucky it was not picked off. Jacob Martin getting in there with the pressure, not allowing Jones to release it like he wanted to, and then the area just wound up being crowded.
Yeah, we've seen this from Ken Norton. He's not just rushing 4. You're going to see a little odd front 3 down, bringing defenders from different directions. Jamar Taylor, Jacob Martin get into the view of Cardell, and anytime you double pump in your end zone, you're asking for trouble. Amadi with the near pick on the other end of that play.
And Ugo Amadi now back to receive the punt.
Come on, Ugo.
Right in midfield, should have a chance. He dropped it. Seahawks look like they eventually recover. I believe Jeremy Boykins got on top of that football and saved it from being a total disaster. Well, Amadi getting his chance to show what he could do in the return game tonight. This is not the way he wanted to handle it. But the Seahawks retain possession and breathe a big sigh of relief. Don't forget the Seahawks football is presented by Washington's Lottery. Take it to 12 with Seahawks Scratch from Washington's Lottery, and you could win $75,000 or a chance to hang with Seahawks legend Cliff Averill. About midway through this 3rd quarter, Kurt Menefee, Brock Hewitt here with you from Los Angeles. Carson, to be technical, down in the South Bay, where the Seahawks have a 16-3 lead over the Chargers. And after the muffed punt, backed all the way up to the 30. Travis Homer lost his mouthpiece. He got hit so hard. Picked up 4 yards on the run.
And look at Elijah Nkansa being a good teammate, picking that mouthpiece right up. I don't know if you want to put it back in your mouth after the tackle.
Is there a 5-second rule for mouthpieces?
I don't know. I thought it was maybe a jaw pad. Nope. There it goes.
Well, lucky for him, no one stepped on it, so it's still clean. Homer again. Oh, look at him push the pile. Good job by the young man getting the first down. Drafted in the 6th round, one of 2 6th-rounders the Seahawks had coming out of the University of Miami.
And look at the big fellas again, just continuing not only right there at the line of scrimmage at the point of attack, getting to the second level, but it is just that finish. It's push. It's Jordan Bruce knocking somebody to the ground. On seemingly every single run play tonight, you have seen a Charger defender on the ground, and that is exactly what this O-line is built to do.
So first down from the 42. Play fake. Gino all kinds of time. And the receiver open. That's your guy, John Osua.
Yeah, just watching them do drills this week out at practice, they did a little release drill. They had a bunch of cones set up. His guys were kind of bounding between them. And just to watch Ursua, I just would like to know what it feels like to defy gravity the way he does with just his quickness. And I'm not the only one that looks at that number 1.5 and says, man, that body type and that movement and that quickness looks like a former 1.5.
Doug Baldwin. Gain of 24 on that play. Ursua out wide to the right. Smith. Time again. Directing traffic, pulls it down, and slides safely. Good job of taking what you could get out of the defense.
I'll tell you, there was a little wrinkle in this play as well. And Jackson Harris, one of the backup tight ends, had a chance to peel back and have one of those knockout shots that we saw Jennings on earlier. So if you're wondering what you're coached to do, watch 47 come into the screen. That's what you're coached to do. He could have come back and hit right in the ear hole, right? He could have done what Gary Jennings did the other day. And unfortunately, or fortunately for him, he shows you exactly how this league wants that block done in the years ahead.
Just get your body in and run interference. Travis Homer. And he stopped about 2 yards short of the first.
And by the way, it was Jerry Tillery, the first-round pick out of Notre Dame, that was the beneficiary of that. Otherwise, he would have taken the helmet in the chest, like football players have defensively for decades.
We're looking at Homer, and we talked about it with the University of Miami. Big game tonight. They lost to Florida 24-20. You think he knows that at this point, or you wait till after the game to tell him?
He might have peaked at halftime.
He gets a carry again. He does run hard. Listen to that collision. Another first down, however, on the run by Travis Homer.
Now, we talked in the preseason before game number 1, Kurt, that this would be the deepest running back room that Pete's ever had. Right, Marshawn obviously so top-heavy, so dominant at his very best. But you're looking at 5 dudes tonight. And you're listening to 5 different running backs tonight. And all of them have got those yards after contact and through contact.
Flags before the snap.
Offense number 62. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Called on Marcus Martin. But go ahead. You're just talking about the variety of running backs.
Chris Carson's 230, runs for 1,100 yards. Rashad Penny, 4.9 yards a carry. You saw McKissick earlier. There was a good look at C.J. Prosise finally getting healthy enough to get his chance. And here's your 7th rounder.
I mean, it has almost been run at will for the Seahawks tonight. Run it again. Well, this time Travis Homer gets stopped after picking up just a couple of yards. Cortez Broughton brought it. 7th round rookie for the Chargers out of Cincinnati. Lost that shoe. Been a rough night keeping those shoes on. And mouthpieces in, things flying all over the place.
A lot of running, bro. We could see 51 plays tonight before this thing's over.
So far, Seattle is at 32 runs for 172 yards and a couple of touchdowns. Smith under pressure. Has to get rid of it. J.D. McKissick out of the backfield. Down to the 10.
And once again, Joey Hunt down there, Landon Turner down there. Landon Turner just signed last week. Do all of that run. Get those defenders right. Look at the defensive linemen all committing up the field. Nice job by Landon. Really good timing on that screen pass as well. That all comes down to timing a quarterback, allowing that play to develop, drawing that rush to you as he does there, and McKissick creates 3rd and 1.
12 yards on the screen. Sets up an easy 3rd down distance. Seahawks need a yard. McKissick cuts it back inside. It'll be close. He needed to get it to the 9-yard line and barely got back to the 10, so that won't be enough. All right, we saw the Seahawks go for it on 4th down on last possession. Obviously, they were a little bit closer. Do you go for it here again? Up
yes.
13.
Yeah, you have to for your evaluation. How many of these reps did you get in training camp? A full-on live short yardage. You know what Jason Myers can do from 28 yards away. This is what you want to see. Who can create the push? Who can win if you decide to throw versus this one-on-one?
McKissick bobbled handoff, but he keeps fighting and got the 1st down. And McKissick doing a good job of staying with the play when things didn't start off right.
Yeah, and he's capable of doing this. I mean, I think he's at his very best, as we saw earlier on that screen, jet sweeps or tosses. Remember, he caught 100 balls collegiately his last year. But he has shown you in his time as a Seahawk, you see a little pat on the chest from Coach Carroll, whatever is asked of him to do as a running back, Coach Morton right there knows it. Like, hey, man, 4th and 1, get behind your pads and push that pile.
And he's really converted another guy who's worked on his body, came in as a skinny little receiver, return guy, now a legitimate running back is Geno Smith. Gets away and throws it away.
Smart. You know, you and I were watching a little bit of that Florida-Miami game, and what do we see from both of those college quarterbacks? Like, get rid of the ball.
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah, veteran guys, no, okay, they win. All right, we try to sneak a little back out once again in the flat because of all that heavy run. Well, Los Angeles plays it. Live to play another play, especially on 1st down in the red zone. I'd like to see Jazz get one more opportunity with that big old body to win one-on-one situations.
Yeah, I think he's only had the one target, and he did draw an interference. Travis Homer hit right at the line of scrimmage. Keeps on fighting, picks up about a yard on the play. But we'll see if they go to the big body and Jazz Ferguson. These are the situations you would expect him to be showcased in. If you're going to find out what a guy who's 6'5", 230 pounds can do, this is the area. Undrafted rookie out of Northwestern in Louisiana, spread out to the bottom of your screen. Smith running. Look at that, diving in for the score. 3rd rushing touchdown tonight for the Seahawks, and this time it's on the legs of the quarterback, Geno Smith, Russell Wilson's potential backup.
And Russell loves it. He's out there to celebrate. He actually had Jazz on a little post corner, but he felt some of the rush coming, so what does he do? Wisely steps up. Took a sack in game number 1 retreating. I love how he steps up and climbs up into that pocket, sees the green grass. And the 7-year veteran knows I get a chance to score a touchdown in the preseason. I'm going to dive head first and get it done.
8-yard touchdown run for Smith. And they didn't get points on the previous drive, but he played well on that drive, and he did so again here on his 2nd possession of the 2nd half.
Oh, you're playing to his strengths, right? You're managing, you're running the ball, you're moving, some play action. That's why I think both he and Paxton were 2 guys, 2 signings that really fit their skill set with what you like to do offensively.
And this time Myers puts the extra point through, and so the lead is now extended. It's a 20-point Seahawk advantage, 23-3, courtesy of number 7, Russell Likinen. Why not?
Well, you call this a win. You call this a win-win. Good enough protection for Geno to step up into the pocket, but a win-win because look at the route of Jazz Ferguson. If Geno wanted to throw it, the big man set that route up beautifully. And that's a combination. That's a route you want to see him run, right? It was trips away from him. You give him all the field, and it's 6'5", 230. You have enough quickness to really run that route in and out of your break to beat that corner, and that was a definitive yes.
There's 16 seconds left here in the third quarter. This will be only the second time the Chargers will touch the ball.
Yeah, this is the inverse of last week, right? Where Minnesota controlled it for nearly 40 minutes, 11 of 18 on third down, stayed on the field. And Geno got the ball after the 2-minute drive after Russell back-to-back touchdowns. He moves it down the field. Was just inches away, right? Gary Jennings' foot was just out of bounds on that go route. And even then had a 4th and 1 at the 1-yard line. 3 very effective drives from Geno in this offense.
Seahawks have had the ball 12 minutes and 45 seconds in this quarter. New quarterback for the Chargers, their rookie Easton Stick.
And he will run.
5th-round pick out of North Dakota State. And he keeps it on his first play. He said he will, he does. Right at the first down sticks, 10 yards on the run. And welcome to this game, Easton Stick. He finishes off the third quarter with the Chargers trying to get something going. It has been all Seahawks for all night long. Both on defense, stopping the Chargers, and the offense putting it in the end zone. It's 23-3 as we head to the fourth. Well, you want to watch this next Seahawks game only yards away from Russell Wilson and the rest of your favorite players? A limited number of field seats are still available for the 2019 season. And new this year, enjoy all-inclusive food and beverage selections delivered right to your seat. Just visit Seahawks.com/field seats for more information. Ready for the final quarter here in this third preseason game. Stick with his first pass. Sean Culkin wrapped up by Austin Calitro. And Calitro a little extra afterwards.
Yeah, you know what? He's looking at his sidelines. He's trying to punch that ball out. The tackle is awesome. That's part of what they do and teach. He's also there with the receiver just catching that ball. He's also trying to punch that ball and try to create a takeaway.
Second and 8. Stick. Nice throw out to the 50-yard line. And that's caught by Artavis Scott right in front of Akeem King. But a nice throw for the rookie.
Yeah, that was almost on the back shoulder. I don't know if he did that intentionally. But as you said earlier, he broke some records of a pretty good quarterback there in North Dakota State and won titles along the way. Is a very adept runner in all of their zone read and movement. Stuff that Phillip Rivers will never do as a Charger. And you kind of make the decision, do we like having somebody that does something a little bit different than the starter, as maybe a developmental player for the years to come? But that was an excellent throw, beating the coverage.
To the 49 of Seattle, and Stick caught in the backfield, fights his way away from Barkevius Mingo and picks up a yard.
Remember, Barkevius at the bottom of that D-line really transitioned to a hand-in-the-ground defensive end. And he does a nice job there, though he doesn't secure and finish the tackle. He forces Stick to pull the ball. And he's rushing right to that handoff point, forces him to pull it, still has the length to nearly bring him down for a tackle for loss.
From the shotgun, Stick up top. Incomplete. Nearest receiver there was Justice Liggins. Running step for step with him was King again. And he's one of those guys in that battle for that third cornerback spot.
Yeah, you saw him at the end of last year play a little bit of nickel, and I think they know what he can do there, and he's fully competent and versatile enough to do it. But I like what they've done with him this preseason and training camp, and that is really zero in and trying to be the third corner, play out there on the perimeter.
He's one of the bigger guys in that battle. When you talk about the nickel, that's a guy who plays inside in the slot, and you've got 3 cornerbacks there. Stick underneath, wide open. Culkin goes flying after being flipped by Jamar Taylor. Hair and all.
Yeah, there's one of your zone pressures again, right? You're going to see the secondary pressure here coming from the Seahawks, right? Nickel and linebacker come, and you see the defenders drop out. That leaves a void there. The Chargers hit it, and Jamar Taylor does what Jamar Taylor likes to do. And that's be, as Ken Norton said to us yesterday, a really scrappy, physical guy.
Chargers do pick up the first down. From the 38, Troy Pope. And Akeem King wrestles him down after a gain of 4.
Back to that third down play. And just some of that pressure, and where is the pressure going to come from? And that will certainly be a conversation to begin the regular season. I think you've seen, at least in the plan today, and we'll see for Ken Norton whether that's going to change kind of in the weeks and maybe a week-to-week deal. But if you do bring those pressures and you drop zone defenders, and they've got to cover a lot of ground. And the experienced QBs, the Brees, the Roethlisbergers, you're going to see the first couple weeks. You better affect him and move him off his spot. Otherwise, there can be a lot of green grass.
Yeah, you better get to him if you do. Play fake. Stick out to Scott. Going to be spotted right at the 28-yard line. That's going to be close to the first down. We'll see. Ugo Amadi forced him out of bounds.
Stick is doing a nice job.
It really is.
And that early run sometimes can just, almost from a psyche standpoint, make a defense think a little bit. His first snap of the game, a 10-yard run, and then from there it is really distributing. Inside, outside, taking a shot, and having a very clear plan of what he wants to do with the football.
This kid was 49-3 as a starter. Back in North Dakota State, here's Troy Pope, the former Seahawk, into the secondary and down inside the 10. Ugo Amadi with the tackle there. This is the best offensive drive of the night for the Chargers. They gain 18 on that run.
Troy Pope doing Troy Pope preseason things.
He is Mr. Preseason, isn't he?
Yeah. An awesome return a week ago in that Saints game. What a great story. We knew him from Alabama. He packed one bag. Not many clothes in it.
And he's just one of those likable kids.
Yep.
I shouldn't say kid, he's a man, but young man. Gets the carry again, stops, jukes, and picks up a couple.
Yeah, he's one of those tough guys, and Cody Barton, you just saw clap his hands. He was there, right? But Troy Maine is one of those really tough little running backs that is so low to the ground. Short guy in stature anyway, and then when they sink down and they make that cut, Barton was right there, and then all of a sudden Pope just disappeared on him.
That's another one of those listed at 5'8". You got to be pretty generous to give him that, I think. Stick looking, pulls it down towards the end zone, throws it, and is caught for the touchdown. Good job of keeping his eyes downfield and finding Andre Patton for the score. That was a nice first possession by the rookie.
And when this coverage is broken down, it's largely been wide. It's been extending the play, whether Tyrod or up in the pocket, Cardell, or in this case, once again, you break contain. Eason extends the play, and I think he's throwing there. He may have been throwing to the other receiver behind him. Either way, it's a touchdown for Stick, and as you said, a very efficient, effective drive.
First time tonight the Chargers have gotten into the end zone. They got a field goal on the second possession of the game and led it 3-0. After that, it has been all Seahawks, and they missed the extra point. Michael Badgley hooked that one way left. And so they get into the end zone. They don't have the point after, but they edge just a little bit closer with 9.5 left to go. Seahawks football is brought to you by Delta and Lyft. Game days mean more miles with Delta and Lyft. This season, get 3 times the miles with Delta on Lyft rides to or from CenturyLink Field for Seahawks games. Simply link your Sky Miles and Lyft accounts at delta.com/Lyft to start earning. 9:26 on the clock. Each team has missed an extra point tonight, both going that same direction, kept the same spot on the field. And after Badgley missed his, the Chargers will now kick it off. And some slippage on the field as well right now by the Seahawks as Terry Wright returns it. Yeah, Wright's getting up limping as well. Here's the miss. And actually that's Ty Long who misses. You can see him look right down at the field. Of course, it's like after you miss a golf shot, too.
Oh, for sure.
You look. Well, you can see Wright losing his footing. And
well, it is a fast track, right? It is a soccer stadium. It is Bermuda grass. And yeah, it is getting torn up here by the end of the night, mostly because of the Seahawks run game.
Well, they have grounded all night long, nearing 200 yards in rushing. And we got another running back. This time it's Xavier Turner. Seahawks just running him in.
At the 37th rushing attempt for the Seahawks, 183 yards. And I don't care who you play in preseason, when you can roll 5, 6 different guys through, a lot of moving parts on this offensive line. Mission accomplished with the game plan tonight.
Turner goes out. Travis Homer comes back, gets the pitch. Lowers his shoulder. Violent 1-yard pickup.
That's what he was at Miami. I called a couple of his games collegiately, and you just kind of always wondered. I remember asking Mark Rick, like, man, that guy just, he runs hard. And he's like, well, he never wants to come off the field. He was a tremendous special teams player. Another reason why he was drafted here as well. And it's nice to see him just full go. I think fully healthy. A guy that also has been a little bit nicked up in the offseason, even in training camp with thigh injury, and he looks 100 tonight.
He had been battling a quad injury so far in the preseason, but looks healthy. Did a little bit last weekend, again tonight, as we have a flag before the snap.
Ball start. Offense number 15. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
John Osua to wide out.
Well, you knew where the ball was going.
You think he was a little anxious?
But now it's not coming to him. That's usually how it works.
You're going to hold your water just a little bit longer. And sometimes you get that number called, man, it's hard to control. So now it's 3rd and long. They hand it to Homer. He's tripped up in the backfield. Didn't even get a chance to get going. Anthony Lemire on the stop. And the Chargers force a punt.
And I think that's the first drive really all day long, 50-some minutes into this game, that the Chargers did anything at the point of attack. At that time, Nkansa, who's played a lot of right tackle, he's shifted over to left tackle because of the injuries and the moving parts, and that's one of the rare occasions you've seen a Charger defeat a block.
Michael Dixon with a lot of room to kick this one.
What time he gets in the game.
I'm sure he's saying the same thing. Look at this kick. Oh, all of a sudden it went out of bounds. I think Pete Carroll got the fair catch on that one. Look at the sideline. Mixed emotions for Pete. I mean, he wanted this to stay in bounds, but you know what? If it's going to go out, you may as well catch it.
Good technique. Elbows in. Watch it all the way. Way to go, Pete.
Seahawks football is brought to you by the Muckleshoot Indian Tribe. 7:05 left to go in this 3rd game of the preseason. Seahawks have looked good throughout the night, and they lead it 23-9. Pete Carroll, after catching the ball on the sideline, working that gum like he always does. We'll see if his defense can get a stop with the Chargers starting with really good field position at the 45 of Seattle. Easton Stick still in there at quarterback. Really good drive on this previous possession. This one to Tremaine Pope. He slips up a little bit. Eventually tackled by Ben Burke-Urban, former Husky.
Yeah, and this is where if you're Stick, you are competing with Cardell for this job. Clearly, the backup spot is set here, and whether or not they're going to keep 3 quarterbacks, keep Cardell around, or if you can find a way to fight to this practice squad, they're going to much better than he did this last possession. In his mind, all he's thinking now is 2 drives, 2 touchdowns.
Play fake on second down. Stick finding an open receiver again. Ugo Amadi with the tackle, but once again, Jason Moore with the grab. Stick finds the right guy.
Yeah, and once again, it's some air in that pocket. I think that is some of the challenge here for Ken Norton and with this crew is, can you rush for and affect that pocket, or do you need to bring those linebackers? And with a 2-touchdown lead, you're trying to keep everything in front of you as best you can as well.
Both teams playing their 3rd and 4th string players. Here's Stick under pressure from Jacob Martin. Forced him to throw that, I think, just a hair before he wanted to, and that was intended for Moore, who couldn't grab it.
No, I think that is exactly right, and that just shows you the little difference. Right, when a QB is able to, have air around him and space around him and throw in rhythm versus, Jacob Martin, that could have easily, by the way, been and should have been called a hold. But that little movement there, and we saw that from Jacob a ton last year. Just a couple sacks on the stat sheet, but the number of times he was disruptive.
We've seen it from him this preseason as well. Movement on the left side.
And that'll be the rookie left
Ball
tackle.
Offense number 79. 5-yard penalty. Steal second out.
Trey Pipkins, the 3rd.
Yeah, 3rd-round pick, and without Russell Okung, you've got Trent Scott starting. I think Russell is waiting to hear kind of by the end of the month of whether or not he's going to be available to play this season. But for Phillip, this is going to be a little different offensive line at the tackle position.
Yeah, for those that don't know, Okung was diagnosed with pulmonary embolisms, blood clots in his lungs. Fortunate they found it out early. And they will diagnose here in a couple of weeks whether or not he's able to play football this year. Out of the backfield, Moore dancing around. Down inside the 20, J.T. Tiuli forced him out of bounds. Seattle kid out of Federal Way High School. Gain of 8.
And that's some of that pursuit. We saw Martin earlier on a screen, on that 3rd and 19 actually chase it down. And this time it is just those big fellas. A near tackle there by Juwan Johnson. Look at the big fellas getting downfield, causing the 3rd and 5, 3rd and 7.
Looking for the 13. Stick. Dumps it off. Tremaine Pope. No chance. Ugo Amadi. That's a way to make up for that muff punt.
Ugo, you go. And go make those tackles in the open field. Little zone coverage. He sees it happening right in front of him. And then the closing speed to get down and make the tackle.
We had a chance to meet with him yesterday. You can sense he's one of those guys that just loves playing football. Doesn't matter where he is.
Yep.
And he can play multiple positions as well. Downfield pass caught by a wide open Jordan Smallwood. He gets inside the 10 before Simeon Thomas made the stop. It'll be 1st and goal for the Chargers.
Yeah, that is just that man-to-man coverage on 4th and 8. Simeon Thomas is a big, tall, look at him, 6'3". And I think, unfortunately, he slips out of this break, a little bit of contact, and he just can't change direction and make a play there on 4th and 8.
1st and goal from the 9. Pope. So little so low to the ground. And he just keeps those feet moving. The next thing you know, it's a 5-yard gain. From the 4. Stick keeps it. Cuts it back, gets in for the score. Two drives by the rookie, 2 touchdowns for the Chargers.
What do you say he was in college? 49-3?
49-3, most wins in the history of FCS football.
Yeah, there's just something about just kind of that winning mindset. And the opportunity to get extra numbers in that QB run game.
All right, so we've seen a couple of missed extra points down this end of the field, including the last time Ty Long tried from here. We'll see how he does now. Everything looked clean, but that one was blocked this time. Simeon Thomas got in there for the Seahawks. You talked in the pregame show at the beginning of our broadcast about finding a way to make splash plays. Thomas does just that here late in the ball game to block the point after. Seahawks football is presented by Washington's Lottery. Take it to 12 with Seahawks Scratch from Washington's Lottery, and you could win $75,000 or a chance to hang with Seahawks legend Cliff Averill. Seahawks had a 20-point lead at one point here in the second half. It is now down to a one-possession game, where they're holding on 23-15 with all the backups in right now. 3:22 left to go. Terry Wright back deep. Short kick. Very short from the 7. But good job by the coverage unit for the Chargers. And the Seahawks forced to begin at their own 15-yard line. So we'll see if Seattle can run out the clock and wrap this up. If you have many Seahawks fans ages 5 to 12 whose favorite day of the week is Blue Friday, well then sign them up for the free Junior 12's Kids Club. Members get invites to exclusive events for kids, special newsletter, a year-round pro shop discount just in time for all your back-to-school shopping, and more. Make sure you sign up today at Seahawks.com/Junior12s. Man, if I were a kid, I'd be all over that.
Yep.
Ask your parents' permission before you sign up. All right, 3:22 left. Seahawks have run the ball for 180 yards tonight. Geno Smith to the air to start this possession. He gets it out to the tight end, Wes Saxton. No gain.
Yeah, you see Geno right there trying to limber up. That's a throw. See just a couple of the movement. Geno's been sharp today, but on a couple of those movements, passes right there, just give it to your running back. If he puts that on the tight end, instead of a 0-yard gain on the run, that's 6, 7, 8 yards, what you want to do to try to close it out here on that 3-minute drill.
Yeah, Chargers call the timeout there, and you would think they would try to run some clock, knowing the Chargers have to use all their timeouts to try and stop it and get the ball back with just over 3 minutes left to go. Kurt Menefee, Brock Hurd here with you on the TV side. We had some special guests over on the radio side for the Seahawks tonight. We'll tell you more about that in just a moment.
Thank you.
I couldn't understand what he said, to be honest with you. Whatever it is, I think they wanted to reset the clock from 3:07 to 3:09. Which is when the Chargers got the timeout. So 3 minutes, 9 seconds left. Here we go on second down. Another pass, incomplete. Seahawks not exactly using the clock here. In a one-possession ball game down late. Well, we mentioned a special guest on the radio side. There's Joel McHale. You may know him from TV and film, like Troy McClure.
Oh, you may know him from Community. I knew him as the walk-on tight end at the University of Washington. He was a bruiser. I think he felt like he was robbed. Mark Bruner, Ernie Conwell, those guys, the walk-on McHale, living out his football dreams.
Didn't throw it to him enough? Is that what you're implying?
Yes.
He's having fun calling the game tonight with Steve Rabel in the game. First sack of the evening for the Chargers, Chris Peace. Yeah, this is probably not the way Pete Carroll wanted to see this possession go with just over 3 minutes left.
No, and it was really that first down play. They tried that little sneak play action pass, and it was there, but unfortunately the throw short. And then you just get backed up against the sticks, and this is just, we saw this a little bit in Minnesota last week with, you know, the moving parts on the offensive line. You get in the third and known passing situations. That's a tough spot for any left tackle, but especially in Nkansa, a guy that's a more natural right tackle.
On the other thing you would think, too, you run the ball even if you gain nothing, the clock keeps moving.
They can burn 2 timeouts. And I think for Dixon here, after that last punt that Coach Carroll fair caught, I think he would like to drill this one about 60 the other way.
The Seahawks use only 24 seconds on the clock. Dixon gets this one straight up in the air almost. And it bounces straight up in the air. Seahawks finally stop it. Going to be close to midfield, but good starting field position for the Chargers, who are down by a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, at least away from tying it. And we've seen Easton Stick lead this team to touchdowns on each of the last 2 possessions.
Yeah, and you saw a little conversation with Pete and Ken before this drive. Ken Norton, the D coordinator, obviously, and just what plan do you want? You want to be in attack mode? You want to play some of that zone, that bend, and try to not break? Let's see what Ken Norton and defensive staff going to dial up here, as Mr. Stick has been very effective with 2 touchdown drives.
Starting from his own 48. Take it underneath. Pass caught by Detrez Newsome. Finally forced out of bounds by Juwan Johnson.
And these are pretty critical reps with 2:39 to go for Jacob Martin and Barkevius Mingo. I mean, these are 2 guys that Mingo had converted a little bit more this year to full-on pass rusher. For Martin, these are the times, man. This is when you're a pass rusher that you have just got to make that splash play. A sack fumble, a negative play, something to get your opponent off schedule. But yet, what looks like another 4-man rush.
That's what they do. Send 4. Stick looking. Throws that one too low. It's incomplete. Malachi Dupre, his intended receiver. Nico Thorpe on the coverage.
I think that's one of the first real misses. Stick missed earlier, but that was with a little pressure from Martin. That time, really the first throw that he really missed. And, you know, pressure comes on now. Final possession of the game. You know, we only got 1 timeout. Got to make it happen here in the final drive. Something that Russell Wilson does so very well on the other side.
Yeah, you'd assume this is 4-down territory, but this is big 3rd down nonetheless.
Another 4-man rush. Nope, here comes pressure.
They get to him. He throws it left-handed. He completes it. Well, I tell you, Easton Stick pulling a little Patrick Mahomes. Amadi made the tackle. But look at this left-handed throw.
Yeah, it's Amadi on the pressure, player of the game tonight. He's got 6 tackles. Another forced throw here, and really probably should have just thrown an incompletion. Mingo, that zone dropper on the other side with an excellent finish.
This is the 2-minute warning.
So that'll take us to the 2-minute warning. 4th and long. The Seahawks defense looking for 1 more stop.
Seahawks football has been brought to you by CenturyLink, trusted technology partner of the Seattle Seahawks. A look at rookie Ugo Amadi as the Seahawks lead 23-15 with 2 minutes left. Here in Carson, California, Aaron Levine with Dave Wyman. What stood out to you in the second half?
Well, Brock slipped in that Ugo Amadi was the player of the game because that was his player to watch. He's played really well. Austin Calitro continues to be one of the heroes of the preseason, and good night for the running backs. Travis Homer having a good night as well.
Big 4th down here. We'll have reaction and highlights coming up in the postgame show. Back up to Kurt and Brock.
All right, 4th and 10.
You bring it?
How many players can you get on the field at once? We'll see how many Seahawks come. Rookie quarterback needing to get it to the 42. Here they come. And he had an open receiver, but he slipped. That footing on that side of the field cost Justice Liggins because he was open.
Yeah, you had a sense, 0 for 2 on 4th down were the Chargers. Ken Norton was not going to just sit back, so he brings 6 here. And again, look at the zone coverage and some of the voids in that zone. That's not how it is drawn up, but fortunately the field monster's gotten a bunch of them tonight.
That close to keeping the drive going. Instead, for the 3rd time tonight, the Chargers don't convert a 4th down.
Yep.
Turn it over on downs, and so now, with the Chargers having no timeouts, they've still got 1 left. So they can't stop the clock once, but Seattle will now just try and run it out. And there's Travis Homer, pushing his way down to the 41-yard line.
That shows you a little bit, and when we talked to Coach Norton yesterday, just about his mindset for this season, right? And working with Coach Carroll and this linebacking crew in particular. And I think in both Jamar Taylor and in Ugo Amadi, you got 2 really good blitzers. 2 guys at that nickel position that like to blitz, that like contact, that like taking that on, are not afraid to play around the line of scrimmage. And on the offensive side, how many creative play-action passes can you draw up? Defensively, I think for Coach Norton and Coach Carroll week to week, and certainly matchup to matchup over the course of the season, how can you utilize Bobby and KJ and Michael and those nickel defenders in ways is, you kind of wait to get Ziggy Ansah into the fold, and you hope he's 100%, and if he is a monster off the edge. But I think utilizing a little bit more of that this season, I know it'll be one of the storylines I'll be watching.
Well, it's interesting. The Seahawks were just running a little bit of clock, and right before they lined up, Joey Hunt had to be helped off the field a little bit. So he goes over to the sideline, and there you can see.
He's played a lot of snaps.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to speculate, but it doesn't look like it's an injury to a body part.
I mean, you got 6 O-linemen not suited up tonight. So Joey has had to play a ton of football.
Yeah, but he came out right before they snapped it, and so they pull him out. And since they're just going to take a knee right now, Ethan Posick, comes in and plays center. They'll try and force the Chargers to use that one more timeout. Almost made it. Gosh, final minute, and I still almost said San Diego. It's hard. This is the 3rd year. You think,
yes,
you think you'd have it down by now. Los Angeles. Well, they're just going to let the clock run and not worry about trying to stop it. No need to stop it and watch the Seahawks take a knee again. And so a good performance for Seattle tonight. Final score will be an 8-point game, but keep in mind, Seahawks led this by 20 going into the 4th quarter when it became a battle of just backups. And so Russell Wilson and the Seahawks offense played well. This defense, particularly the starters, played extremely well, holding the Chargers to just a field goal through 3 quarters. And so the Seahawks get their 2nd win of the preseason to go to 2-1. 23-15 the final.
I think just dictated, right? They dictated offensively what they wanted to do. They were aggressive defensively. They were better out on the edges. I thought Shaquille and Trey covered down well, and that run game was, well, it didn't matter who got the number called. They were very effective.
We can say it didn't matter who, but down on the field, CJ Prosise probably pretty happy that he got to be one of those guys running the football tonight. Thanks for joining us, CJ. Can you hear us? Well, maybe having a little technical difficulty with CJ Prosise. We'll get him on the microphone and make sure that he can hear us. When we talked about this running performance by this Seahawks offense tonight, it didn't seem as though it really mattered who ran the ball. CJ, you there? Can you hear us now?
Yeah, I got you. All
right. Well, we were just talking about it didn't seem like it mattered who ran the football tonight. The way this offensive line got to push and the way all of you played, it was a dominant performance.
Oh, yeah, the O-line, we're doing a great job tonight. Holes everywhere for me, especially all the guys playing tonight. We just did a good job, and we ran hard, so that's what we're going to do all season.
CJ, what did that feel like, man? Your first contact of the season, getting that opportunity tonight. That first touch, man, what did that feel like?
Oh, man, it was great. It's been a long time coming for me, I feel like. That was the first time I felt really comfortable being out there in a while. And I'm just happy to be back out there with my teammates.
How competitive is that running back room, CJ?
Oh, I mean, every day we're getting after. We're competing every day. We got guys, starting from Chris down to Penny, me, JD, and Homer, and Bo. I mean, we got all types of guys in that room who can run the ball and do a great job. I mean, they can go any other team and be, competing for the starting spot. So we just, every day we competing and getting better.
I know a lot of this league, CJ, is throwing the ball, right? They're spreading it, they're throwing it. But there's just something about this scheme and this system of Coach Carroll and crew and Coach Solari that he still loves to run the football. How much do you enjoy playing the running back position in this scheme?
Man, I'm loving it so far. We put in a lot of new stuff this year just to get the running backs involved, and that's what we're looking forward to this year, just having a lot of stuff going on. And so, it's looking for a big year for the running backs for sure.
One thing that was, when you were in the game, Penny, when he was in the game, it seemed as though the touchdown drive, they kind of featured him. When you were in there, it seems as though, especially as they got closer and closer, they just fed you the ball specifically. Did you have an inkling that, okay, this is going to be my drive and I can just show out and do what I need to do?
Not really. I think I got that first touch, and then Shotty just kind of felt the feel, saw that I had the feel out there, and just kept feeding me. And I was excited to get the ball and just get my opportunity.
Well, you guys had 42 carries for 185 yards rushing tonight. I think that'll bring a smile to everybody's face.
Oh, yeah, we love that. We love that.
All right, thanks for joining us.
All right, thank you, guys.
All right, that's CJ Preseason. What it was a really dominant running night for the Seahawks offense. 3 rushing touchdowns, almost 200 yards rushing. DJ Fluker and that offensive line did their job tonight. All right, when we come back, we'll wrap up things from Carson, California, where Russell Wilson and the Seahawks wrapped up a W.